Roughing the passer call.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to, I guess episode 2 now of season 2 of Roughing the Passer.
We'll call it 1.1. We'll call it 1.1.
1.1. There you go.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. As always, my name is Drew, and joining me, my co-host, the wonderful Mr. John Newman. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? That might be the first time I've been called wonderful, but I'll take it. And what's wonderful is we have football officially back. You know, I know we had the Thursday game, but you know, until you get that full slate at Sunday, that first Sunday, that's when I get really like. And then when you think about this year, you know, you're always worried about what's going to happen, or you know. So the fact that we got all the games in this week, at this point, we got games tomorrow too, but today's the main bulk of the schedule, and you know, 0 COVID tests, by the way, as well.
Yes, that's why. That's what's been awesome is we haven't had any bad news. We at least got through week 1 and everything so far without anything terrible happening. And guys, I have just posted into the chat the link if you would like to call in. And I know everybody's got an opinion about every single team and every game and who to anoint the king of the world. I know everything. Everyone knows everything after week 1. So please call in. Let us know what you're thinking about in terms of your team or anything that we're talking about today. Obviously, call in and let us know. What you thought about week 1, because you know, John, I'm gonna pull up the scoreboard here and roll through, but there's definitely, I don't know, this was an interesting week. My Panther game went exactly how I thought it was gonna go, but it's an interesting one.
A lot of, I mean, if we picked our 4 games. If I was picking the whole slate of games, I would have really done terribly today. I you know, whether you want to use the term upset, surprises, I'll use the word surprises. There were definitely a lot of surprises, and not only so much in the surprises who won the game outright, but even how close certain other games actually turned out to be.
Yeah, there were quite a few. A lot of what's up, Michael Keller? How's it going? Thanks for watching. And there were tons of games that I thought were just downright shocking to me. We kind of talked about it on our pre-show on the intro to the season. This was going to be something that was going to be different. It was going to be unlike any season we've had before. It felt like the preseason. Just that the starters never went out. I kept expecting them to go out, but they just never did. But I don't know. It was an interesting one for sure. But we'll dive right into it. What game stuck out to you the most?
Well, I mean, the Detroit-Chicago game for 2 reasons. You know, Trubisky actually play pretty well now that he's feeling some pressure from the guy on the sideline for a change. And then how that game, I mean, Detroit still could have won the game, and DeAndre Swift, the rookie, looked like a rookie, and ball went right through his hands towards the end of the game. And it, the old adage, one guy doesn't win or lose a game, but got to catch that ball. And, Detroit's 0-1, and, Trubisky.
For those that don't know about that exact catch, or if you were not able to see it, I'm going to have it up here on the screen for you here in just a minute, because that was just awful, man. I mean, I hate it for him because he is a rookie, but this is one of those balls as I'm finally able to get it up on the screen here for you guys to be able to see as well. This is one of those balls, man, that you have to catch this. Like, I don't care who you are. Great throw by my fantasy quarterback. I mean, dude, like, come on.
I like the Chicago DB who gives the incomplete sign like he broke the pass up.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
it's
like
just a drop.
About this. Like he had anything to do with that play.
like DeAndre dropped the ball. Like you didn't break the play up and like stop it. Like no. DeAndre catches that thing. You lost the game. Like that wasn't you making a great play. He got by two defenders and just couldn't hold on to the ball. He's a rookie. I like DeAndre Swift. I hope something like this.
What I was about to say is you pull this up. Look at, the route is beautiful. The throw is beautiful. You just have to come up with the ball. Blowing a 23-point lead, I understand you're nervous. I understand all of that. You're a rookie, but that's one of those things, that little bit of difference of speed from the NFL to the pros. That's it right there. It's that little split second that he had. And,
and I love DeAndre Swift. I just hope something like that doesn't hurt him. You know what I mean? As far as his development, they signed, Adrian Peterson, which, I have Swift on my fantasy team. Mm-hmm. On my big money league, we do a college pick. So I actually had drafted him before the NFL draft onto my team. Right. And so I have a little bit of a soft spot, I guess, if you will. And I just, when they signed Peterson, I'm like, it might slow Swift's ascension into the league. He's not going to get as many carries. And, now you got three guys there with him, Kerryon Johnson, and Peterson now. So,
yeah. It's a big one over there. Speaking of that division, at least, we'll go to the other. I guess we'll stick there and we'll just take care of the North real quick. Nathan Wachowski saying the Packers running the table, just face it. I love the week one optimism. Thank you.
Listen, you're undefeated. You gotta revel in it.
I love it.
I don't blame anyone. If the Steelers beat the Giants tomorrow, I'm going to be just as ecstatic. The thing I took away from that game is everyone that's burying Aaron Rodgers and saying he's on his last legs. He did his Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. He had a great game, and he's basically saying, "I'm not going." Jordan Love, hold that clipboard. Don't get too excited yet. You're getting paid, but you're not going to play, and so, they got some weapons. I mean, we're going to do our goats and our game balls, and so I don't want to give too much away, but there's another guy in that game that really superstars. I don't want to say stepped up out of nowhere, but he's always a guy. I'll just give this tease. Like he's a number one, but I always sometimes makes me question, is he really? And today he showed that he was. I probably could figure smart people could probably, or real football guys could probably figure out who I'm talking about. But we'll get to that segment. But
I was shocked, man. I was shocked. I did not see this coming from Green Bay. I will say that. I left them off my list because I figured they'd probably be on yours, and I guess I'm right. But looking at this game, Aaron Rodgers thoroughly impressed me. Them not going and getting a wide receiver this year, I thought was a massive mistake, and they proved me majorly wrong, at least for week one. And that's all we have to go by. So we'll just act like it's 16 weeks. But they looked great. They came out of the gate hungry, and I think they knew exactly what they were doing. I think Jordan Love's going to be a great quarterback, and I think he'll play eventually. But I think they knew what would piss Aaron Rodgers off. And let's face it, if you get an angry and determined Aaron Rodgers, which is normally when he's single and has them draft somebody he doesn't like, which I believe both to be true. That's when you get a pissed off Aaron Rodgers, and a pissed off Aaron Rodgers does what you saw today. And I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I did not see them as a threat at all when I was looking at this season before it started, but I just thought there were way too many holes, and I really thought they needed a wide receiver. But if they stay healthy, this is a really good football team that is definitely going to take up one of those 7 spots.
Yeah, I mean the NFC, you got a lot of good teams in the NFC. When you're looking at conference to conference, NFC to AFC, and
Yeah.
I kind of like this being a Steelers fan. The NFC is you got a lot of teams that could come out of there. I think you look at the AFC, you got probably 3 or 4 legitimate ones where you could make a case for 6 or 8 teams on the NFC side. So it's going to be interesting and fun. And I mean, you got Arizona beating San Fran today. San Fran had the early lead, and I didn't see any of this game. Full disclosure, I just saw the score, and for those who believe in Kyler Murray, this is a big year for him. We give any rookie kind of that rookie year, sort of a pass, no matter what happens, good or bad. And then we look at year 2 and year 3 as it's either going to happen or not. And in football, you don't get many chances. If it ain't happening by year 2 or year 3, that franchise is looking at your replacement, or they have it already. And so Kyler Murray playing well. I don't know his stat line. I can look it up, but they scored 24 points and they won. So they must have did all right.
No, absolutely. All right. Well, speaking of that, we'll dive. I guess we'll dive right into it with a segment that we had last year, you guys. And if you're unfamiliar and you're just starting watching this year, it's a segment that we do called Game Balls and Goats. Obviously, Game Balls being the guys that we thought played the best today, and Goats having a little different connotation with us. We're not talking about the greatest of all time. We're talking about some guys who thoroughly sucked it up, or maybe had some terrible misfortune. But that's where we get to have some fun. And please, guys, I'm posting the link in the comments. Call in, let us know who's got your game ball or who was your goat of the day as well. Definitely call in, let us know, and we'll talk about them. But John, I know this is always one of my favorite segments that we do, so I'm going to let you start off this year. But I'm going to let you at least pick game balls or goats. Which do you want to start with? And name away, my friend.
I don't know. I have fun picking on guys. Yeah, so let's start off with goats, right? Right on the top of my list, man. Baker Mayfield. Listen, I understand they probably weren't going to beat the Ravens. That's not what I'm talking about. But he was again, his stat line was terrible. He talked a great game in the offseason. Now he's focused, he's dedicated. I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass here, Drew, because of who he was going up against, but he was still not good today. All I saw watching football today was those goofy insurance commercials where he lives in the Brown Stadium, and he's not backing that up. You see a guy gets a whole commercial to himself. Your Patrick Mahomes, your Aaron Rodgers for State Farm. And then Baker's the poor man's version of that. And he's not living up to that billing. He had that great rookie year. And this is, Cleveland, this is the year where they have to decide that they got their guy, or we're, again, add another quarterback to the Browns' long list of guys that didn't pan out in Cleveland. And, it's not for lack of weapons, man. I'm not a huge OBJ guy, but they got him, Jarvis Landry, 2 running backs, and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. They've improved that line. Their defense isn't terrible, although I don't think they well today, and so like no more excuses. I know he said in the off season last year he got off the tracks. He paid too much attention to social media. He wasn't focused. He said he's coming in a new man, and I'm more of a Newman than he is. It's my last name, but all puns aside, I mean, he talked a good game, and he didn't play one today. And Cleveland, everyone that likes to think this is the year. Not a good start and not a good look for him. And he's on pace where he's going to be more known for the commercials than the play on the field. That's never a good thing.
No, absolutely not. I'd agree with that. I mean, the Browns in general played terrible. I will, like you said, I'll give him a pass for the sole reason of, you're playing a team that I'm going to be talking about here in just a little later. But you've got, if you're ever going to take that leap, these are the games you have to do good in. I'm sorry. I mean, like you said, there's not that many great teams in the AFC, but if you play them, you've got to at least be competitive. Like, I don't expect you to necessarily come out and win the game. I mean, his stat line, 21 of 39, 189 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That's mediocrity at its finest. If that's what you want to go with and that's what you think is going to actually get you anywhere in life, then that's fine. Go with it.
And here's the thing, Drew.
You've got
not
too many
to cut you off.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to cut you off. It's in a game they're down by 20 points all day. So you're throwing, and he can't even crack 200
and you're
yards.
Throwing in soft coverage. You're throwing in soft coverage.
So that's a terrible. When you look at the score, that's a terrible stat line. And barely 21 for 39 is slightly over 50% completion rate.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
It's pathetic with the weapons you have. It's absolutely pathetic, and I don't see how. I don't know. I know it's 1 week, and like I said, everything that anyone says when you're critiquing a game can be, asterisks with it. It's only 1 week, but when I see this, these are the type of games. If you're the Browns, these are your statement games. These are the games, especially Baltimore. They normally get up for these games. I mean, last year, they got up for this game, and this year, I mean, this is pathetic. This was an absolute pathetic display by them all around Cleveland completely, but Baker in particular. Landry looked okay. If I had to show any bright spot, I would say it would be Jarvis Landry, but it was definitely a rough one for them. I'll agree with you on that. But my first what's up? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say my first GOAT this week. Gonna have to go with the actual GOAT, some would say, but Mr. Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady and Tampa, really in general. I mean, you spend all season. I mean, if he had just signed, not made a big deal about it, and just gone about his business, I probably wouldn't have put him on this list. But when you start putting billboards up, trademarking city nicknames in your honor and all that bullshit, like, I'm sorry, dude. You start bringing in your buddies and pulling in Leonard Fournette and every other fucking veteran that gets cut left and right, like your damn LeBron James. Like, you're acting like you're the greatest of all time. I expect you to get on the field and act like it and show. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if you just sign a contract and go play like a guy on the game balls did today, then that's great. Then I'm going to give you a game ball. But if you do all that, trademark these dumbass nicknames, and then come to the NFC South, a division I'm very fucking familiar with, and think you're going to walk in there and just start rolling over people and you're Mr. Tom Terrific, well, I mean, honestly, I think he just got a wake-up call today. This is not a division with the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Jets. This is a division with the Panthers team with Teddy Bridgewater, who actually played decent today, a great Bills team, and an okay Jets, or a great Falcons team, and a great Saints team. Like, you're playing in a division now that with real boys, and I think I think he got a rude awakening today.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people post the old hashtag system quarterback. I won't
No, no, I'm
go
not
that
saying any of
far.
that. No, no, no. I think
Yeah,
he's the greatest of all time. I think he's the greatest of all time. I'm talking. This is for 1 week, and for this week, for
yeah.
your opening
No,
week, the new team. Like I say, if you're going to trademark city names with a dumbass nickname, you better come out and whoop some ass. I'm sorry. You can't come out and play like damn Jameis Winston. If the Bucks wanted a quarterback to go out and throw 2 interceptions, they had one that's stealing crab legs in college and all that other dumb bullshit. Like they could have kept him. That's not who they signed up for. I'm sorry. You got to come out and play football.
yeah. Well, you're right. It's funny because Jameis Winston was on the other sideline today watching the whole game.
I
But
know.
I think I'm gonna and listen. I don't stick up for Tom Brady. I got him on my team too, Marlon. I don't stick up for Tom Brady too much. The only thing I'll say is they got so many different guys coming in. Not just Brady, but you got Fournette, McCoy. They
Oh
got
yeah.
some new defensive guys added to the mix. No preseason, no
Mm-hmm.
real games against other teams, and I think it showed today what can happen when you're not on the same page. His timing was
Well, we
off.
talked about
He,
it on the first season. We talked about it
yeah,
on the first game. Those teams with little turnover, teams like the Saints, they're the teams that are
yeah,
going to thrive, and I think you saw that.
yeah. I think it's a great point, and I think that's what you are going to see. And I think that's what was exposed today in that game specifically is guys were not on the same page. There was a play early in that game where Brady threw a pass downfield to Mike Evans, and he either didn't run the right route or he pulled up short and the ball was picked off. And you could see Brady was mad. Brady, let's be real. He's not shy to voice his displeasure. I don't care of a new team. He still was barking at Evans or other players. And, I think he's going to feel, it's going to be crazy. I think, tell me if you agree with this, Drew. I think he's going to feel more pressure this year than
Yeah.
even his years in New England
Yep.
because I think he went to Tampa Bay. He left New England to, I think there's a little bit of a pissing match here between him and Belichick. Belichick wants to prove he can win without Brady, and Brady wants to prove I'm the reason we won those 6 Super Bowls, not
Right.
Belichick. Belichick benefited from me being on the roster. And I think they're each, they don't come out and say that, but I think that's what's going on. And I saw his face, his body language, his facial expression. He looks like he's feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
He's feeling the pressure, and and it's one game, but if they drop another one early, and that pressure gets even revved up, turned up, my Jordan, who
Yeah.
who knows football, me and him had a talk about it this afternoon. He thinks, that Tampa Bay not even gonna get close to the playoffs. He thinks they're gonna be like 7-9 and 8-8, and in the NFC that won't get you probably in the playoffs. And I don't necessarily agree with that, but hey, they're 0-1, so right now he looks more right than me.
I hear you. So,
So.
who's your second goat this week? Who you got as your second goat?
Man, he's a guy. Listen, I know he's not necessarily an all pro. He's probably not going to be holding the job down for very long. And the way he played today is going to be very quickly before the rookie comes off the bench and takes his spot. But he's a guy who traditionally plays well to start the year, and then he fades, and then the next guy comes in. And it's a team that's getting a lot of buzz. That they're moving in the right direction, and they got starting to get the right pieces and the right coach. If you haven't figured it out, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick. Was terrible today. 3 picks, no touchdowns. They want Tua to learn from him. I don't know. I think maybe Fitzpatrick might learn more from Tua if they make the change, you know. And Fitzpatrick's, like I said, Drew, he's normally a guy that starts out actually pretty hot. The first
Very
three or
hot.
four games, he looks like, you know, he's going to win a Super Bowl for you. And then reality then the stagecoach turns back into a pumpkin. This is kind of rare territory for him. He came out stinking, and they're not going to wait too long. If that's how he's going to play, Tua's going to be in here sooner than later. And one of the reasons I think, frankly, they just didn't give the job to Tua is their first 4 games are against some serious defenses.
Yep.
And I don't think they wanted to throw Tua into the fire that quick. But if Fitzpatrick just plays lousy, they're going to have to. They're going to have no choice.
Yeah. No, they definitely kept Tua out because of the teams he's playing, or the teams they're playing to start the season. First of all, you want your offensive line to gel somewhat before you throw a kid like that back there. I think that's same with San Diego. After watching Hard Knocks, I know San Diego has every single intention of putting Justin in, and it's only a matter of time, but they're going to let the team actually come together before they just throw him to the wolves, and it's smart. But Fitzpatrick was terrible. You're right. This is a guy that, like you said, normally starts out hot, but also is a guy that normally he's known for not turning the ball over much, making the smart throw. And I did watch some of this game because I wanted to see Cam. And, Ryan Fitzpatrick, 20 for 30, 191 yards, 3 interceptions. That's absurd. That is not a Ryan Fitzpatrick game at all. It was a shocking one to me.
Yeah, I mean, the Tua era is going to start quick.
Oh, very, very soon. The Tua era is starting much sooner than later. And my second goat, we've already discussed a little bit. DeAndre Swift dropping that pass. I'm sorry, buddy. I know you're a rookie, but like I said, you ran a beautiful route. You played a good game, but you just can't. I mean, that's not, if this is some one-handed grab, circus catch that he dropped, okay, maybe I have a little bit of forgiveness. You run a perfect route like that, you get wide open, and you just, I don't know. There's no excuse. You're a GOAT this week, at least.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that. I'm not going to pile on him because I like him.
Yeah, but on that one. So we can go on.
But no, you got to catch the ball.
Yeah. Yep. So who's your third one this week?
Man, former Steeler. He's getting paid big money, and he's starting to look like it's over, man. And this is the Steelers almost got him back last year. They were talking trade with this team. Again, I like to give subtle hints. Those who know football probably put 2 and 2 together. It's Le'Veon Bell. I know he didn't get a ton of touches today, but 6 carries for 14 yards. I mean, that's not going to get it done. And I watched that game. We get always the Bills games here in Syracuse, and I watched that game, and he looked like he aged, 6 years. And they got speaking of age in 6 years, they have another guy in that roster, Frank Gore, who's 57 years
like
old.
80. Yeah, I know.
And he actually played. He looked better than Le'Veon Bell, who's younger than him. And Bell's getting paid, money. And I think the Jets, tried to shop him last year, and just no one wanted to give him what they wanted to get for him. And I think they're kind of, I don't want to say stuck. I mean, he could come out next week and go 17 for 125 with 2 touchdowns. But I saw today, he looked slower. He looked tentative. And catches the ball a lot. But, even that sort of has dried up and dropped off. And so he looks sort of, right now, a shell of his former self. And when the Jets signed him away from the Steelers, if they would have thought this was the Le'Veon Bell they were getting, they would have never signed him. So he's got to be a GOAT
Yeah.
you're
That's a
not getting
great
it
one.
done.
That's a great one. One I did not think about, but absolutely. After seeing him today, I was hoping. I thought last season I was like, this has to be an abnormality. This has to be. This is not Le'Veon Bell. It's not who I saw. And then I watched the game today, and just like you said, he looked tentative. Like I was watching Christian McCaffrey, guy that runs very similar and can do a lot of the same similar things that Le'Veon does. I'm watching Christian McCaffrey, and he's exploding through holes. He did not look
Yeah.
anything about timid. I mean, he was anxious, if anything. But Le'Veon, I don't know. I don't know what it is, man.
People said, that year he sat out, Drew, from the Steelers.
Was the
A
dumbest
lot
thing.
of people were saying, "Oh, he's keeping himself fresh." You got a year older.
Yeah.
Your age don't stop. Maybe
No.
you didn't take the shots from playing, but you're
No.
still a year older, and you're
And
a
what he
year rustier
accomplished,
too.
and he didn't accomplish what he was trying to accomplish. So the whole
Yeah,
sitting
no,
out
he,
for a
did,
year
he
did
didn't get
nothing.
he didn't
No,
get the huge payday he was
no,
really, really hoping for.
no. All it did was end up costing him a year, and more than that, I think it shows, especially at that position. Some positions you might be able to, like tight end, for example. I'm thoroughly believe a tight end like Greg Olson, Gronkowski, somebody like that can retire, can take a year off, come back and fit into the offense. But if you're trying to be a starter, a bell cow, a superstar in this league at running back, taking a year off in the middle is not going to help you whatsoever. I'm sorry, you retire early, bro. Like, do something different. Retire when you're young if it's that big of a deal. But holy shit, the holdout. I mean, it killed him. And I don't want to blame it on the organization and where he's at, because the yards are there, the holes are there. He can make a difference on that team. He's got all the talent in the world, but he's not doing it, and that falls on him. So I agree with you.
I'll sum it up real quick like this. When I heard last year they were the Steelers were considering trading and bringing him back in the fold, I was happy. I was hoping this got done.
Right.
What I saw today, I'm glad we don't have him, and that's crazy. But that's based on what last year's total year and what I saw today. He looks like someone that's really on the back end of his career, and is just scrapping to hang on. And he's getting paid like someone in their prime, and he's not looking like someone in their prime. So
No, he's not. Absolutely. Guys, I am putting the link in the chat once again. Call in and let us know who's got your game ball this week or who is your GOAT. And my final GOAT this week, John, I couldn't go with one person because I was trying to pick which one to single out, but I couldn't choose just one, so I'm going very broad. And every single fucking team's tackling. My God. Bro, I'm almost, after watching this week, I'm almost for the preseason, like 2 games. Like, I kind of want teams to play a little bit before they get together, if for no other reason than to learn how to hit again, because you're pussyfooting around in practice. You were not hitting hard, and it showed today. I saw so many. I mean, half of the time when these guys are going down, they're really lucky the guy fell after he just threw a shoulder at him. I mean, there's no technique whatsoever anymore, and the tackling today was just pathetic. What's up, EJ? How's it going, bud? Thanks for joining. But the tackling, John, that by every single team. I didn't see one team do it good. They're my last GOAT today, is just tackling in general.
I think you nailed it, Drew. I think you nailed it with why. I think the lack of that preseason games, as much as they are pretty boring, it allows people to get that work in. And I think another thing you didn't mention, but I'll mention it, is the rules too. We can't hit. Guys still hit pretty. The old style football. And now it gets penalized, and it's people have not adjusted their game completely yet. And even in college, they're a little more, believe it or not, they're a little bit laxer than the NFL with the hitting. Now they have the targeting and all that stuff. But if it's a good, clean, hard hit, college, they won't throw the flag. In the NFL, even if it just looks too bad, they throw the flag. And whether that's coming down from the commissioner's office. But I think between the lack of work in the preseason against other competition and the hitting rules that have been really watered down, it's you're right. I think it's tackling's a lost art all of a sudden, and it'll get better. Obviously, as the year goes along, they'll work on it in practice. They'll obviously have to work on it in the game, or you'll be looking at the back of someone's jersey rather than the front. But I think that'll get cleaned up. But yeah, definitely week one, it showed. You see some of the scores, a lot of high scores. So if you're one of those people who like to debate who's further ahead and early in the year, I think the offenses won today over the defenses as far as who's more ahead of schedule. But that'll correct. That'll all kind of balance out, and then we'll see. Then we'll see more of the true play, what teams are or aren't. And week one's always kind of a weird week. You always a lot of nerves, a lot of new players on new teams, just trying to get adjusted. When you factor in COVID-19, I think that ups the degree of difficulty probably times 10. And so I'll give certain things a pass this week. Normally I look at tomorrow's Steelers-Giants game and feel like uber confident, but with what I've seen today, who knows? Who knows? And Ben's back, and I'm feeling good about that. But that's tomorrow. We're still on today, so.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, the tackling, I sure as hell hope it gets better. But now we'll move on over, John. Since we are going a little late, we'll be moving on now to the game balls. And so I'll start this one off because I actually got a video, and I've actually got it decently queued up here in just a minute. But my first game ball today is actually going to go to the number 1 draft pick this year, Mr. Joe Burrow. Because, let's face it, you're a number 1 draft pick. You've got a lot to live up to. You're playing for the fucking Bengals. So right there, difficulty times 50. This was a lot to live up to. This was something that I thought he was going to look terrible. I did not expect him to do well the first couple weeks of this year with no preseason, no true training camp. But, you pull up, you look at his very first touchdown that he had today. Absolutely incredible. The running I did not see coming. I did not see them doing all of this running. But, you watch this touchdown run, dude. This kid's got some skills. And I came into this not a Burrow believer at all. But I actually think this kid has a chance to succeed now, and I'm kind of rooting for him because I really like this kid, and I really like what I saw today. He looked comfortable in the pocket. He looked poised. He did not look nervous at all. And that's a vet. That is a move. That's as good as you can get right there.
That's a design quarterback draw too, and exactly took it right up the gut, literally untouched, I believe untouched, and there's his first touchdown. He spikes the ball, so hopefully someone retrieved that, so that goes in the trophy case. Now I'm on the opposite end of you, Drew. Is I am a Burrow guy, and the sad part is obviously being a Steeler fan, I can't really root for Joe Burrow when they're playing each other, but I love this kid. I think it's they got a quarterback now. Whether they get all the other parts in place for them to be successful, we'll see. But I think I said this last year, all through the year when he was at LSU. I know it sounds crazy. He reminds me of Tom Brady. I'm not saying he's going to win 6 Super Bowls. But he's got some sort of it factor. You know, we always talk about it. He's got it. Whatever it is. No one ever defines what it is.
Right.
We talk about it like it's some sort of like vapor. You know, he's got it, but he does to me. And they almost won today. Almost beat a Chargers team. And I think if Cincinnati can do un-Cincinnati like things and draft the right people, get the right coaches in place, I like this kid. I think, you know, I almost wish he wasn't on the Bengals because they're in the Steelers division, but I love Joe Burrow. I think he's the real deal. I think he's going to be one of those rare number one picks that really live up to that pick. You know, even other number one picks have had good careers.
As long as he doesn't do this, which is what Tom Brady did today, who you're comparing him to, which we'll just throw that in there because I'm a dick. Sorry. Keep going.
No, not very un-Brady like today from him with the 2 picks, like you said. They could have kept Jameis if they wanted that. But Burrow, man, if they, like I said, if Cincinnati does un-Cincinnati like things and puts the right people in place, and I'm not just talking about players, but coaches, staff, the owner kind of stays out of it, and they're moving in the right direction. And you said something that's important to note. You know, Burrow's got no fear, and so to come in there as a rookie and sort of play with that poise is impressive. And so he's a guy that's going to get better too. That's the thing. He's young. He's gotten better at, you know, through his college career. He couldn't beat out certain guys. That's why he transferred from Ohio State. And each year he's upped his game to get to be the number one pick. And so this is a guy that, from all reports, studies, watches films, takes his craft seriously. And, the sky could be the limit with him, assuming the franchise makes the right decisions too. And here's the other thing, we'll see. Does he stay there? I don't think he was real excited to be picked by them, but he knew that was going to happen. So it'll be interesting to see if they play well, he plays well, his opinion internally may change.
Yeah, and, absolutely.
It's going to be great to watch how this whole thing develops around him.
It is. I'm excited to watch him develop. And, coming into this game, I was one of those people that was just, I have to see something. And what I saw today was a very, very confident kid that's just, I said the word before and I'll say it again, just fearless, just absolutely, he's got that ice cold look in his eyes. But on to our next guy, John. Who's your first game ball of the week?
Well, I teased it earlier, so I might as well get it out of the way. When we were talking about the Packers, and I said, this guy, I know he's the number one. You look at the stats, they're usually there at the end of the year, but sometimes there's games I watch with the Packers, and he doesn't do it. He doesn't. I don't always view him as a number one. And
I'm assuming you're talking about this man right here, as you'll see, an absolutely beautiful touchdown today, dude. Just nasty.
Yeah. He had a great game, and he looked like the number one he is. I mean, there was times, I play fantasy league, so I look at it from that perspective. And there's times when, he doesn't live up to that billing. But today he had the best, to me, he had the best wide receiver day. Calvin Ridley, who did not, I got to be honest with you, did not make my game ball. I wanted to, but I couldn't put him in there. Calvin Ridley's another guy. We're going to talk about him as the year progresses that I love in Atlanta. But I had to give it. It was actually between, truthfully, Devontae and Calvin, and I gave it to Devontae because I'm critical of him, and so to be fair, I felt like if I can criticize him, I got to give credit where credit's due.
I fully understand that because, I completely agree with you. I think Devontae Adams was great. I agree with every single thing that you said. And I thoroughly agree with you because my second game ball is actually somebody that I've given a ton of praise to this man also, but I've also been incredibly critical of him. And I actually predicted that this is where he would go on this show well before any of this stuff started coming up. But Cam Newton and today. I've got to give him all the props in the world. He looked healthy, which was what I said all along. If he's healthy, then this is going to be a massive pickup by New England. And looking at him today, the dude looks healthier than he has in years. The running game, I mean, Bill Belichick, you can tell he just got a brand new toy. And I mean, as you can see right here, the dude just, I mean, this is healthy Cam. He hasn't run, I mean, that's just a short little run, but he hasn't ran that hard in years. Like, it's been ages since he ran anywhere near anything like that. And I love what he is. I love where he is in New England. That's why I said on this show last year, I thought that it would be a perfect fit for him and a perfect challenge for Belichick. I think that people are writing this team off way too fast. I think people have overlooked this team. If Cam Newton's healthy, this is a way overlooked team that could actually be very, very dangerous. I think they need some weapons because I do think, well, they're in the AFC that's not as difficult as the NFC. There are some tough teams that I don't think they can get past as they stand right now. But if this is just the beginning of what we're going to see and this team's going to get better like Bill Belichick teams are known to do, then this is going to be a scary football team yet again without Tom Brady. So I got to give Cam Newton a game ball.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys that kind of buried the Patriots and said we talked about it last year on RTP. We talked about is the Patriots dead if Brady leaves, and I said yes. And but if Cam's going to play like you said, like today, a lot of people like myself who printed out the tombstone and placed it gonna have to pull it back off and not place it because they're going to be in the mix and, especially in the AFC. And so that's what remains to be seen. Can he do that on a week in and week out basis? How's the dynamic going to be between him and Belichick? Belichick really doesn't like those real boisterous vocal quarterbacks. And even Brady isn't really that. He might be towards his teammate. But you know what I mean? Once the game's over, he doesn't say a whole heck of a lot. And you're not getting that with Cam. You're getting the crazy outfits and the sound bites. And see,
I don't think Bill minds that because I think he knows it's only a couple of years. If he looked at it, I don't think he ever would have signed him to like a long-term contract because he wouldn't want to deal with him long-term. But he's that type of quarterback that, to me, if you're Bill Belichick, a coach that's done everything, this is that shiny new toy that gives you something completely different and all these new things to play with that you've never been able to do before. If he's healthy, and he looks to be, which I'm happy for him. I'm really, really happy he's healthy. I'm still glad he's gone, but I am glad he's healthy, and I got to give him a game ball for being in New England and really kicking some ass today against Miami. But it was Miami, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But who you got for your second game ball, man?
Well, he's a quarterback too, and he's almost a guy. I hate to say it, but you could probably give it to him almost every week. He's probably an MVP. Yeah, he's almost an MVP every year. But it seems like someone else just has a huge year on these same years. And but the guy, I think he doesn't get enough credit. He's starting to get some hobby love recently. Fortunately, I have quite a bit of his stuff, and so I'm benefacting off that. But Russell Wilson in Seattle, just monster game. And you can argue he doesn't even have the greatest receivers. Now the receivers are good, but they're not Tyler Lockett and a second year DK Metcalf is probably middle tier of receiver sets in the National Football League, but it doesn't matter. It almost doesn't matter. He made Doug Baldwin, who was sort of to me and also ran into a number one receiver, and he's just a guy that can beat you with his legs, can beat you with his arm, and got that chutzpah, and he's not real boisterous. He does his talking with his play. That's just Russell Wilson. It doesn't matter really almost what you have. He's going to make a game out of it, even if they're the underdogs. And Seattle, just when Dan Quinn took the for sale sign out of his front lawn,
right?
He
there it goes.
He took them apart. And Matt Ryan had 450 yards in that game, but quite frankly, that was because they were down and having a lot of those prevent defense yards. Now, nothing to take away from Matt Ryan. Someone said, "Well, John, how do you give it to Russell Wilson? I know they won, but Matt Ryan had a better stat line." Okay. Well, there's a reason for that. It's not just about stat line. One team was down most of the game, and that guy had to keep throwing.
Yeah, this isn't fantasy football. This is how you play on the field. This doesn't just this isn't tabulated down to numbers. This is how you look on the field. And I agree with you. Wilson was incredible today. I watched a lot of that game as well. Wilson, though, dude, I mean, these are MVP numbers. 31 of 35, 322 yards, 9.2 yards average, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, a QBR 87.6, only because of 3 sacks for a rating of 143.1. That's an MVP. That's an MVP.
Yeah, that's like a Tecmo Bowl box score.
That's a absolutely incredible. And I mean, that's just and he led the team in rushing with 3 rushes for 29 yards. So I mean, you're looking at a dude that's still I agree he doesn't ever get the credit that he deserves. A lot of that I think has to do with the fact that Seattle was always looked at as a team that like more of a team as opposed to one person. You always knew more about their defense almost than their offense, which is really weird, but that's how Seattle was for a long time. The thing you looked at and the thing you were known for was your defensive players like Sherman and people like that. Now, it's a fully different identity. Plus, he played in that era of Brady, Manning, Breeze. Brady, Manning, Breeze, Rodgers, Roethlisberger. I mean, he gets lost in the shuffle, I think, way too much. But Russell Wilson's still putting up against Atlanta, which I hope this is what I get to see from Atlanta all year because it's the fucking Falcons. But, I mean, he dismantled this football team. You can look at the score at 38-25 and say, oh, it's a competitive game. No. This was an absolute shit whoop all the way around. I mean, going into the fourth quarter, it was 28-12. So, I mean, this was an absolute murder by Russell Wilson today. I love it. Great pick. And my third game ball, I got to give it to the guy who ran all over my Carolina Panthers today, and that's Josh Jacobs. Man, I didn't want to like this dude. I did not think he was going to be this in the NFL last year. Even when he started playing good, I thought it was a Peyton Hillis type, 1-year wonder type of thing. I did not see this dude being a full-on starting running back. I'm sold after today. This kid got bigger, but he kept his speed. He's physical when he needs to be. He's elusive when he has to be. I mean, this kid can do a lot. And, I mean, this Panthers defense is rebuilding, but the run defense is actually where we thrive. And he absolutely shredded us all day long today. So, Josh Jacobs is actually getting my last game ball today.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Like you, I wasn't sold on him, but he's backing up the first round grade with performance, and can't argue. I can't add too much to it other than to say the proof's in the pudding right now, and he's making that Raiders pick look good. Some of their other picks, not so much, but at least that one they apparently got right.
Yeah, absolutely. So, who was your third?
All right. So, Leonard Fournette came out recently. Leonard Fournette came out recently and said when he signed with Tampa Bay, his first time he's going to play with a real quarterback.
Yeah.
Which obviously is a slight to anybody he's played with before. And apparently Gardner Minshew read that because
Yes.
Gardner Minshew came out and had himself a pretty good day. 19 for 20, meaning only one ball that he threw hit the ground. 19 for 20 with 3 TDs. Jacksonville pulls off what most people would perceive as an upset. Everyone thinks they're going to tank for Trevor and Trevor Lawrence. Well, they did a bad job of tanking today for Trevor Lawrence because they're 1-0, and Gardner Minshew said, "You like the 2 picks Brady threw? Your only quarterback you've ever played with. Hold my beer, basically." So Gardner Minshew said, "Hold my beer." Goes out, goes 19 for 20, three touchdowns. Jacksonville wins. Fournette's 0-1. Jacksonville's 1-0. And I love every minute of that, to be quite frank with you.
Hey, so. I got to agree. Yeah, I got nothing to add there except for you're right. Gardner Minshew, just, I mean, this is something I still can't. It's so weird praising him because, I mean, you got to remember, I watched the dude for a year at East Carolina lose the job in college. So to see him doing this stuff in the pros, I'm happy for him. But it's just, I still just can't get used to it in my head. I just don't see it. But amazing performance by him. And I think, I don't know, all this tanking for Trevor stuff, they can tank all they want for Trevor, but I need him to win 1 or 2 more games first. That way we can get that first pick because I think that's what we're gunning for. But thank you, Jacksonville, for at least making that road a little bit easier. I guess that's all I can say on that one.
That's funny. Yeah. I don't know. It's just, I don't know if he's a long-term guy there.
Yeah.
But you play like that more often than not. You're gonna, whether it's there or somewhere else, you're gonna have a job. And listen, I think we both know. Let's be real here. We're having a chuckle about it. You ain't gonna get that every week, but when he does it, you gotta take your hat off and say, "Hey, game ball today." And so Gardner gets one next week. He could come out and throw three interceptions and have a bad game, and we're talking about what Trevor Lawrence is going to look like with a Jags uniform on, But that's the NFL for you from 1 week to the next. And so this week he looks like a world beater, and so he gets a game ball. But that's the beauty of the NFL. And week 1 is just a crazy week where a guy like Gardner Minshew gets one of my game balls. It's gonna be fun. I hope we get the whole. Based on what we see in week 1 here, Drew, I hope we get a full season of football because it's going to be fun. It's weird seeing those empty stands. I'm not going to lie about that. And, I hope, on a personal level, as someone who goes to Pittsburgh once or twice a year for games, I won't be doing that, obviously, this year. I'm hoping that we get past what's going on and we get back to some normalcy, and not just football, but all sports. And there's nothing like attending a live sporting event. And you know what? And in football, Drew, you know this as well as I do. You go to Panthers games; those fans can make a big difference in the game. The 12 man and change momentum. And that's the thing. There's really no home field advantage at this point for any team because you're not getting any fan interaction. There's no Lambeau leaps going on. There's no drowning out the quarterback's cadence. Huh?
Somebody should have, though. I mean, somebody got a Lambo leap into nobody. I mean, come on.
The invisible Lambo leap.
Somebody has to, please. But John, before we wrap up today's show and everything, I got a little bit of a surprise for you because I didn't really tell anybody, but we got shit whip of the week, buddy.
Oh, I wasn't sure. I wasn't banking on it.
Oh, I know you weren't, but I found one. I liked it. There's probably a bunch better. I was going to use one, but then I found out the dude ended up getting hurt, so I'm not using it. But I am using this one right here, and this is just it makes it a little bit better, at least in my opinion, because it's a defensive player getting shit whipped, and I love it. And anytime a wide receiver can do this, it's just pretty. So we're going to Detroit, where bam, just
Well, he ran over that guy.
Beautiful, dude. I love it.
Oh, there it is. Oh, that's the play. Oh.
Yeah, just absolutely blows him up, like just done. I love it. There's probably some harder one, but there was one other one that was in contention.
No, I like that one. That one. Hey, listen, it's not precedent setting. I forgot who it was. We had a quarterback get it. Might have been Phillip Rivers last year.
Yeah.
So he's not the first offensive guy to get it, but I like it. I'm a former football coach, so I love all that stuff.
Same here, buddy.
But a little hobby, mixing in a little hobby where our backgrounds really come from, or at least heavily come from. Good time to find those Jared Stidhams in the bargain boxes this week.
Exactly. Big time. This is definitely a time for Stidham. This is where you can get them for cheap because.
And it's funny, you know this just as well as me, Drew. In the offseason before they signed Cam, some of his stuff was bringing some serious points, and what a turn of events there. So there'll be a few unhappy Stidham inventory holders after seeing Cam. It's funny. I'm sure they watched that game almost rooting against Cam because of what they were holding, and then what they saw today. They probably threw a couple things at the TV. So
absolutely. All right, well, that's gonna wrap it up, I guess, for this week, John. We're here at 10:30, so I guess we'll go on and wrap today's episode up. Ernie, everyone else, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Please follow us. And
don't be shy. Don't be shy next week. If you don't like something we said, or you disagree, or even if you agree and you want to tell us we're the foremost experts in the NFL, which we are. It's nice to hear other people reiterate that. But either way, whether you agree or disagree, or you have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, or you want, hey guys, what do you think it is? Even if it's a fantasy related, we both play fantasy football, daily fantasy.
Which we'll be diving into fantasy throughout the season as well. We'll be going through lots. We both play. I do DFS every week. You guys, if you follow the socials, which please, guys, follow Roughing the Passer on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everything. Subscribe to the channel if you can. But we put a lot of that stuff up on there as well. We'll be covering fantasy throughout the year also. With it being week 1, there was a whole lot more we needed to get into with the teams and the games. But we'll dive a lot deeper into fantasy as the season goes on, both DFS and more. But call in with anything, even if you just want to call in and brag about your team on camera for everyone else to see. It doesn't matter. Please call in.
Yeah, and this is fun for us. Last year we started sort of mid-year. This is the first time we're coming fresh out the box with a season, and it's going to be fun. Going to be it's going to be a long ride, but it's also when we get to the end, we'll be like, man, that year went quick as well. And this is an interactive show where we want it to be. Like Drew just said. And so whether you agree, disagree, have a question, just want to, hey, my team's 1-0, 2-0, and I got to brag while I can because I kind of see this coming to an end. That, you're welcome.
Cool.
We post the link, and very easy. You're not going to be uglier than me, so you're at worst you're going to be the second ugliest on the screen with us, and keep that in mind as well.
All right. Well, guys, it's great to be back. John, it's great to be back doing the show again. I know we do plenty of other shows together, but it's great to be back doing Rough in the Past.
Well, we both love. We're big football guys, man. This is right in our wheelhouse, and it's fun. This isn't even work. Other people might say it's work. This is just a good time.
Absolutely. Well, guys, 2 games tomorrow night to check out. I know Newman's Steelers are playing, so I know what he's going to be doing tomorrow night. But 2 big games tomorrow, so season's not done yet. There's also a Cowboys game on now against Los Angeles. So
just an update. Rams up 20-17. They're punting. They're in the third. The third quarter is about over. So one more quarter. Rams up by 3. For all the Cowboy fans who say this is the year Super Bowl, right now you got a quarter here to be 1-0. You got to make a comeback, but it's only a 3-point game, so we'll see.
Plenty of time left.
Yeah, and we can go. We don't have time today, but Dak Prescott's definitely going to be someone we talk about this year for sure.
Oh, quite a bit on that one. But all right, y'all. Well, we will see you guys next week at 9:30. Enjoy tomorrow night's games, Thursday night's game, and we will see you next time, guys. Peace.
Roughing the passer calls.